Hello, welcome back, friends, to the Bacano Insurance Journalist. I'm Alex. I love saving you money on homeowners, health, car insurance, you name it. But what I really enjoy is answering your questions. I received a question from a viewer regarding a tree that fell on their house. They hired a company that messed up big time. Let's learn what can be done. I want to start off with the usual disclaimer.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If in doubt, make sure to get individualized legal advice from a legal or insurance professional who is more familiar with the exact details of your respective situation.
This story begins when our viewer hired a company to remove a bunch of trees from around their home. The company began working without having a signed work order or receiving a deposit. The tree removal began without proper documents because the viewer, who had recently moved in, hadn't received a certificate of insurance at the time. The company went and cut down some trees that they weren't supposed to. One of those trees that they weren't supposed to cut then fell onto the roof of our viewer's home. It ended up destroying some expensive roofing shingles, broke the bottom edge of the wood supporting those shingles, and even took the gutter clean off. As far as we understand, the company is insured, but nobody has reached out to the viewer directly from the company yet. Here are some questions that you may have at this very moment. Is a homeowner able to get money for a company inadvertently cutting trees? What can be done about this type of damage as far as getting insurance to pay for the repairs? Well, let's start unraveling this puzzle. Usually, when a tree falls on your house, it's your responsibility or liability. A company, however, that does this line of work takes on some form of liability, assuming that a waiver was not signed beforehand. Here's the good news. 9 out of 10 times, they're gonna wanna push to pay for damages out of pocket to avoid having their insurance rates increased. If they can fix it to the point that everyone is satisfied with the repair, that's probably the best possible outcome. But they could also be evasive and put the viewer in a bind, daring him or her to directly go after their company's insurance. In that case, speaking with an attorney to help clarify what the best course of action could and would probably be a wise decision. The first step, though, is always to document everything that has happened as best as possible with pictures and video, if at all possible. Get the name of the company and their contact information. From there, you will likely have to reach out to their insurance carrier and make sure to get the name and information of their adjuster or whoever is handling the claim. If for some reason the company doesn't have insurance, then you will probably be looking at going after them in civil court.
All of this, of course, is general information and not individualized legal or insurance advice.
Keep that in mind. But exactly how and why could a lawyer possibly help? My first thought is that if you're upset about the quality of service or believe you were in some way financially damaged by them cutting down the trees, that's probably a time to talk to a lawyer. Take, for example, them cutting down a beautiful oak tree that a potential home buyer loved, resulting in you losing that home sale. Well, that's most likely an issue that you could take up with a small claims court. This distinction is because they're cutting down those trees, or that tree in particular, that they weren't supposed to, is more of a customer service issue versus the roof actually taking physical damage from the tree falling on it. Another example of when you should probably consider getting a lawyer is if you are not able to get this sorted out by the company fixing it themselves, or they're paying for someone to fix it, or even via a claim that is paid by their insurance carrier, and especially if your insurance excludes this type of damage. Let's make something clear here. If they're directly responsible for the damage, then it should be on them and on their insurance, not your carrier, to make you whole. I would avoid rushing into filing a claim with your insurance carrier because even when a claim isn't paid, it can still impact rates in some states. Anyone in this exact situation has a clear responsibility to report a claim to their carrier, usually within a 30-day window. However, always check with your policy plan and its documents to make sure that the exact wording and reporting window is clear. Always take time to process and do things in a way that involves your homeowner's insurance policy the least. Here's the thing, you're not crazy. No one wants to deal with homeowners insurance policies, especially when they're already so expensive. If the cost of your homeowner's insurance policy is becoming a concern, take a look at a video I made earlier that breaks down how to save a ton of cash on your homeowner's insurance policy. But back to the question at hand. It's also possible that the business could be combative and make the argument that the tree itself fell in a completely and totally unrelated interaction. Maybe the wind was heavy, maybe it was raining, who knows, right? Outside of some precise video proof that they caused the tree to fall on the house, they could have some plausible deniability here, right? If that's the case, it would probably be up to your insurance. In this scenario, an adjuster will assess the damage and your insurance company could try to subrogate, i.e. take this claim to court themselves, usually against the other company, or rather usually against the company's carrier. Here's what we have to make a clear distinction regarding all this, because the sharpest of you are saying, well, Alex, listen, what about the commercial general liability? Ironically, commercial general liability insurance would address the damages to your home, but not to the trees themselves. CGL handles the damages resulting from an action. A classic example of this is if a roofer improperly installed a roof, which then resulted in interior attic damages caused by the leaking roof. CGL would cover the interior damages resulting from the improper installation, but not the roof installation itself. The quality of the roof installation is a warranty type issue. So in the viewer's case, CGL would cover the damages to the home itself, right? But not the poor or improper work product, such as cutting the wrong trees or cutting them in an incorrect way. If he or she is happy with that outcome, then this ends there. But is life ever so easy? Let's say it goes further, and for some bonkers reason, CGL doesn't kick in. Okay, Alex, that's what professional liability insurance is for, right? Well, that's a great question, but here's the problem. PL is a line of coverage that a lot of landscapers and arborists do not generally carry. Yes, PL insurance will likely cover this type of damage to the viewer's trees under wrongful acts or failure to perform, but that's assuming they even did have this type of coverage in the first place. Additionally, any lack of documentation such as signed work order would make a claim tough to get compensated for. The obvious lesson here is always to get proper work orders and receipts. Depending on your risk tolerance, size, and complexity of the job, you might also look into providing the company clearly written instructions, preferably with visuals such as photos and property maps that can be used at a later time if a claim or court visit is required. Listen, going to court can be really complicated, but what is not complicated is using the insurance companies to improve your stock portfolio's performance. You totally should check out an earlier video I made in which I discuss insurance companies and their market-shattering returns. Highly recommend you look into becoming a shareholder to profit off of these insurance carriers. Remember to invest wisely. All investments carry risk of loss and to do your research. All right, but back to the topic at hand. Let's highlight something here that's pretty important. The absence of a signed contract or any of these things can devolve into a he said, she said situation with one side saying they cut down the wrong trees and the other side saying, hey, we cut what we were told to cut. Man, don't even add the look of these trees, right? Which is even crazier in how subjective it is, right? There are a few courts that will take anyone seriously when you say that they butchered the tree, which they will almost always counter by saying, hey man, we trimmed it to prevent it from causing damages as requested. Another path to resolving this issue is to look at whether or not the company is bonded. If they are, you could seek out whoever bonded them and try and file a claim with that bonding company for this particular issue. It may take checking in with your state insurance department if it's not listed by the company itself on its website or documents. Well, that's it for today's video. Make sure to comment, as I am always learning and would love to hear from you regarding this issue or anything else that you might have taken place. If you found the video useful, make sure to go ahead and smash the like button, share it, and subscribe to this channel. I would be honored if you did so because all these actions help grow the channel. Till next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.